Number 13, Theo Vaughn.
Yeah.
I like how they'll be telling a story, and he'll have a story associated with it from back home. Him and Joey Diaz together telling stories. It's just really, really funny. He's like, man, I used to work with a guy that he was a tattoo artist, and he practiced tattooing on hamsters, and then he'd sell hamsters at a fair.
Jeez.
And Joey Diaz is just dying in the background, like trying to get a
hamster with his tramp stamp.
Theo, yeah, right.
He's a good interviewer. He's very honest.
Ham stamp.
Ham stamp.
Sorry.
It was really funny.
The last one you did that made me laugh. Like, I am happy with our placement here in Tyler's little basement. Yeah. Full Size Podcast. Happy New Year, everybody.
Hey guys, how you been? Haven't seen you.
2020.
Good. Everybody good?
Yeah,
Good.
Great.
Survived.
Full Size Podcast. We made it. We made it through the holidays. It's all behind us now. It's all downhill from here until it gets warm outside.
Man, it was rough. I got so much great stuff. I had a nice time.
Yeah,
It was rough, but it was a nice time.
It was nice, yeah.
it was rough but nice.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't matter what happens.
I guess not.
First time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that time of year where Christmas is over. It's like a really depressing time.
Oh God, is it ever, man?
And-
It's my least favorite time of year by far.
Christmas?
No, the time after Christmas, immediately after Christmas, where it's like, okay, nothing's here
Boom.
now but cold, and stay inside until April.
Yep.
We used to
Like-
have to sedate him when we put our Christmas tree away when we were little. He'd be like,
Not literally,
like
but it's just
clonopin.
like the end of the 10 days of Christmas off from school, and then you got to go back to school. Christmas tree's going like,
the day,
fuck this, man.
The day after
New
Christmas
Year's
Day. No, the day after Christmas Day is the biggest fucking Sunday ever. It's like a Sunday.
Oh, I like it. Because we would always go to my Nana's house, and that would be like second Christmas.
Well, yeah, because like when you're a kid, you have the whole days after the whole
Now,
week.
Philip, clean up your Barbies and come on upstairs now. Damn it, don't make them Barbies fight down there.
They're scissoring, Granny.
Knock your brother's tooth out. Gummy bears.
I just took your accent. I just like that's the child now. Do you guys do like New Year's Eve? Is that big for you guys?
You know
Christy,
what?
so I live closer to Trenton than all of my siblings.
Or was it big for you guys?
And well, when we were little, it was. We always had friends over and stuff. But right now, you can hear the guns and the fireworks and everything. Where I'm at, you could literally look over Whitehorse and see where like shit's going down.
Yeah,
fireworks, pop, pop, pop,
And
pop,
you know
pop.
that's fun because our neighborhood is so big and so dense that like everybody has a fireworks somewhere. So all you do is go outside and you see poof, 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 in
a
all
huge
different directions.
fireworks
It's so
show.
much fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But New Year's is so much more complicated now with kids.
Sure.
Like last year, my sister came with her 3-year-old at the time, so we were working for like 2 hours to get him to sleep in the guest room, and then we had to quietly celebrate down here. Like it was still nice, but like not the same as like show up at 10:30, get drunk.
Yeah.
I used to watch the Dick Clark Christmas or
New Year's Rockin' Eve.
It actually went from it was a 30-minute program. Then he had a stroke, so it was 2.5 hours after that. But it was really, really
4
very
words were
well.
said.
Why do they still do that? Why
I
do they
feel
still
bad.
do
I'm
that?
not making fun. I'm just
Money.
saying.
Yeah.
They really
Now it's Ryan Seacrest's New Year's Rockin' Eve.
Yeah,
That's what he hosts that New Year's Rockin' show.
Remember
now.
Andy Cohen got drunk 2 years ago and like fired off a bunch of like
I
negative
wish-
shit.
I love that. I need to watch that. The Andy Cohen
Yeah.
and Anderson Cooper.
Ooh, he got
That was hilarious.
He got nasty,
I'm
man.
into it.
He was so mad. Last year was the first year. Was it last year or 2 years ago? Was the first year they did it without alcohol? And he's just on the TV. He's just like, I need tequila. Like so pissed.
Yeah,
like,
he was
it was
not happy.
hilarious.
So did CNN own that for a
Yeah.
while? Okay.
CNN did. Yeah.
Oh wait, no, not New Year's Rockin' Eve.
No,
this is
ABC did.
This is
New
two
Year's
different
Rockin' Eve,
programs. CNN has their own traditional one in Times Square as well, but the New Year's Rockin' Eve one I think is ABC, and that's like kind of the staple that everybody watches. There's other ones.
We should
that
do
are-
one where we do art and call it New York Smockin' Eve. And have chicken, New York Cockin' Eve. And then play
worse.
guitar, New Year's Rockin' Eve.
I'm not a fan of New Year's Cocking Eve.
Or we could walk, New Year's Walkin' Eve.
Smocks, cocks, and rock.
Or we can actually make your bathroom leak-proof, New York Cockin' Eve.
Caulking Eve, New Year's Cocking Eve, Caulking Eve.
Yeah, just to make sure you have nice
This
caulk.
is great content.
Sounds like
yeah.
you need a drink.
This is
on it.
great. Yeah.
I have some nice caulk at my house.
But yeah, so now we have the baby, and that was a lot harder to be able to celebrate, especially since as soon as midnight happens and there's fireworks all over the place, wakes her up. But what are you gonna do? It is what it is. I'm on leave right now anyway from work.
What is this?
So I can do what I want, like drink.
Drink
in the
right
day.
now.
What do we got? What is this?
What do you got there,
I ran
Kyle?
into one of the co-owners of Two Robbers. They're a seltzer, or actually not anymore.
Oh,
It's a
cheers.
vodka soda drink now out of Philadelphia.
Oh,
But it's all natural. So all the fruit that they get is all from natural farmers from across the. So like they're.
I don't like fruit from unnatural farmers. So that's very good.
No, it's natural flavors from fruits.
Dude,
fruits
it tastes
from
pretty
around.
fresh.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
this is I have here the Cara orange, and it literally just tastes like
Orange
a
juice?
mandarin, like like one of like.
But it doesn't taste like booze, right?
No,
Yeah, it's crazy.
no, it just tastes like bubbly mandarin drink. Like this is legit. Like it is very fresh. You could tell. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah,
I
this
like
is
it.
nice, dude. Tell
I
them
like
thank you to
thank
Two Robbers.
you.
Yeah, I gave him a couple
Two
stickers
Robbers.
and yeah.
Hell yeah! All right,
deal, man.
we
Love
love the barter system. I think all men love the barter system. I think that's like a system of trade that men wish we could bring back.
Like,
I'll mow your lawn for the summer, but you got to shovel me out if it fucking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the barter
Yeah, like you
system.
can borrow my hedge trimmer if you give me some extra nails when I'm working on my roof
Dude,
or whatever.
Don't quote me, but isn't their barter system still associated with like home production of alcohol? Like you could make a certain amount of alcohol at your house as long as you like trade it for other things and not
Really?
like
No,
sell
that's
it.
because they can't legally sell, but
Yeah, but
instead
there's
you can
other
trade.
things
you can
like
do
that.
that, and
I mean,
that's the
it
that's
could be
the
totally
that's the
wrong.
loophole.
Totally wrong.
for the
please.
law.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Ask Phil Mead Phil.
Mead Phil.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy you got to meet. You need to sit down with him.
Yeah, now
We need to get him on the show this year. That's our New Year's resolution right there. Let's get some more guests on the show this year.
I'm
we have
thinking-
some friends we want to sit down on the fourth mic here.
I'm thinking Phil would be good. Chris, Captain Cook's Food, Chris would be good.
Yeah.
Kylie Moore would be perfect. Kylie Moore and him could nerd out for a whole episode. We could just put our feet up
Yeah.
and watch.
Yeah,
Oh,
I did that
SNL
about
90.
SNL.
Her favorite movies
Simpsons.
are favorite movies are Jaws and Jurassic Park.
Holy fuck!
I know, right? And I'm sure she likes Twister.
I'm sure. Don't
I'm
worry.
sure. But you guys were nerding out at the Philly Hot Sauce Festival.
Yeah,
so
we were
she
talking for a
she
while
would fit
about
in.
SNL.
Like we want to try and find guests. Like yeah, it's cool when somebody does something cool and the guest has a cool thing going on. But when they fit with the rest of the motif of the show, it kind of like it complements the
It's
show.
fun to have a new voice in,
You know
the
what I
same,
mean?
in the same conversations we
Of
always
course.
have.
So, yeah.
So that's our New Year's resolutions.
That's
Get
it.
some more people in the fourth chair. Do either of y'all guys celebrate anything with New Year's resolution wise? I know at one point you did drinking last year, was it?
I did drinking, yeah, and I actually did. I gave it up for a whole day, and then
Wow,
Tyler. No, actually, you know what? I wanted to say this. I wanted to actually talk about this real quick.
Fight.
Oh my god!
Sorry, that's right next to the clapping.
Sorry.
button.
My level of drinking has gone like to maybe 10% of what it used to be.
Yeah,
Same.
It is.
I used to be,
Same.
dude. I
Yeah.
would anytime we got together as a family. I had my 4-pack. I had a little pocket ouncer of Fireball or something, and I didn't get fucked up and like hammered and all sloppy
Yeah.
and stuff. But I had this nice buzz rolling. Now I feel like 1 or 2 beers is like max for me.
Yeah.
It's like that's it. Like this little whiskey drink and this 2 that's me pushing it, and I'm happy. And I feel like that was a New Year's resolution I tried a few times and definitely failed at.
But you got a month and a half in, right?
No, I got literally a day. I was like January 2nd.
Really?
Yeah. I think 2 years
That's
ago.
unhealthy.
2 years ago, I did a month. I think I did dry January.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was dry January.
Yeah.
That's what it
Last
was.
year.
That wasn't your resolution. It was dry January. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
I tried,
Yeah.
but I feel like alcohol doesn't mean anything to me nearly what it used to.
No.
Like I enjoy a good craft beer. Like I'll get a good stout now and just chill with it.
Sure.
He's got a good. Speaking of good small brewers, you ever have Spellbound?
I do.
It's very good.
I did.
I do.
I had we went to a local church and they have this gift basket raffle where you have a
Fucking
little gift
asshole.
basket with a cup and you put your ticket in there and then they draw the tickets. If you
Yeah.
get it, you get the
There's
basket.
100 fucking baskets there.
We got 6,
7,
baskets.
7.
7 baskets, dude.
Yep. Christy, I got none.
We got one that was like a barbecue set. We got one for dogs. We
Car
got
care.
the car care one. We
Whoa.
got these are decent baskets. We got like a cooking one, and all of them.
We don't even go to that church.
I got one a whiskey
That's our new
sour.
scam.
We got a whiskey sour. What's that whiskey that
He
you
got
like?
High West whiskey.
Oh no way!
It's good.
in there, and
Is
that
that what
beer
that is?
one was in like a fall themed one.
My
or something.
sister put in for a tea basket, but she put it in the wrong basket, and it was in this beer basket that I put in. It had Icarus Kalishnikov coffee, which is very hard to get, and it had 2 very, very high end Spellbound barreled stouts. Like they did a stout in a Maker's Mark.
Steal from the church.
I know, right? Best place to get booze has been a church for me the last year. So I'll have to bring that in. Maybe we'll do a special episode or something. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Have Spellbound on board. Try those stouts out. I'm so excited.
The point is that these beers have longer legs for us these days because you don't need to drink so much to enjoy it as much. And for me, my risk is just being too tired to be able to stay up to take care of the baby whenever I need to. But aside from that, like, it just makes me tired, man. It just makes me tired. And I don't want to drink enough to where I'm drunk because then I immediately feel it and I don't feel good.
I feel like anymore. I'm buying quality stuff now, so I'm kind of like savoring it and enjoying it more than just like, it's a 30-pack of Bud Light.
Natty Lights, go.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not above a 12-pack of Bud Light if I have a bad week. But
or just a social thing of Super Bowl, whatever. That's fine. That's fine.
But like this dude, Robbers, this is a hanger right here.
This is great, man. This is one that you don't. This is not one to slam. This is
probably
one
really
to
good for summer too.
Oh, without a doubt. I'm a fruity drinker. I'm a fruity drinker. I like drinking fruity drinks. I always have been. I've always been sweet. And this is good. I like this.
It's not overly sweet though either.
No, that's the thing.
You can taste the natural.
That changes as I'm getting older. I don't like the sweetie stuff as much.
Sweetness.
Like the sugary sweetie stuff.
Yeah.
Hey Tyler, I'm at the liquor store. You need me to pick anything up? Yeah. Do you have any of that Smirnoff that tastes like melted ice pops?
Yes, I love.
I remember when we first went to Boston. You guys had like Swedish Fish energy drinks.
That was me.
That was not me.
That was me.
Yikes.
The Ghost sent a box over that had it in there. It had that, creamsicle, had
Ghost?
like Bubblicious.
It's like an energy drink company.
Oh, I thought you said a Ghost brought it over to the house.
They had a cotton candy Bubblicious energy drink, and it was almost
like the branded one.
Yes, branded.
Wow.
It's branded, and it's Swedish Fish is branded too. I don't know how the Ghost did it, but
nice partnerships.
Yeah,
they spooked him.
Crazy partnerships. They gave them to him free for a podcast.
Just like all extract. You put that extract in gum. I'm going to put that extract in liquid,
and it's clear. You pour it out.
It's all
what the fuck? Yeah. It's clear. You're like, oh god, this is probably not good.
That's the cool. Yeah, sorry. Anyway.
You had a really good resolution that you shared with me and Tyler in the group chat, and I think it's worth bringing up.
Being happy.
Being happy. Well, here's the thing, because I was pairing it with
experiencing more joy.
Yeah, because I was pairing it with what I was going to say was that, like, stuck inside this time of year, you're not going outside. What are you going to do? You're inside. You're watching TV a lot more. You're watching shows on TV. You're watching dramas, whatever. But something that, like, I routinely will put on that will make me smile. And I just watched one. It was actually Seth Meyers' new special, which I loved. Actually, he's a really funny guy. Stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedians, their routines. Jim Gaffigan has a new one on Hulu. Like, pop one of them on, giggle, and then leave. Like, it's such a good. It's a good
leave
and then leave,
giggle,
and then get up from the TV. Like, it's a good for the soul kind of thing. It's very important, especially for those of you that suffer from the sundowners,
seasonal depression.
Sundowners were elderly.
Sundowners.
Not bad.
It's like a new
the depression, the seasonal depression. Yeah,
it's funny because I've always been, since you can ask Tyler, since I was 18 years old, I've always been a big fan of stand up. I've always leaned on it to have in the background to make sure that there's something funny going on.
Sure.
And I'm lucky enough at my job, my boss John, he lets us wear an earbud at work, and we keep one earbud in and one earbud out so that we can hear if there's an emergency or anything like that. But some guys choose to listen to music and all that. I actually choose to listen to podcasts where I can learn something, but a lot of the time I'll listen to comedians, like interviewing, and I find that
interviews of comedians, not just their stand-up routine,
that plan and do a set, and that's an art, that's a craft. It's absolutely hard to do. But I think somebody that's naturally funny in an environment like this, where they don't know what's going to get thrown at them,
and they think
really
on their feet.
Yes, it's a true testament of how funny somebody actually is.
Yeah, without a doubt. The improvisation muscle is really impressive when someone flexes it right.
And the thing that I always lean on, and I know I've brought it up to you guys before, but Opie and Anthony used to have carte blanche. Their show, their contract said, whatever you guys want to do. Opie would buy a newspaper, they would go through it and look at it, and any comedians that lived in New York or were playing New York that weekend were allowed to come in and sit on the show, and they didn't have to tell them. So they'll be doing an Opie and Anthony episode, be like, hey, who's that? Hey, Colin Quinn's coming in. What's up, Colin? Hey, I'm playing the Helen Hayes Theater this week. And he would sit down and do a 2-hour show with them. And whatever they would throw at him, what he could be comedic about, it just made me so inspired. Like, these are truly funny people. Bill Burr was a big one. There's over 120 episodes of Bill Burr.
He's top notch
on Opie and Anthony. 120 episodes. I've listened to every single one of them.
He had a really good episode of SNL not that long ago.
Very
like
good.
A little bit ago.
Yeah, about a couple months ago, yeah.
It was funny. It was like a Rorschach test, and they kept putting it up, and people would see like, oh, I see a tree. But then they would change the photo for the viewers on TV, and it was like Mike Wazowski in a thong. It was like Disney characters in sexual poses. It was hilarious.
That's awesome.
It was so. It's like, you guys aren't seeing this. It's clearly Mike Wazowski presenting himself. Like, it's so funny.
Yeah, Bill Burr is good.
He's been on the show a bunch. He's good. He's funny, man.
Yep. Bill Burr was a big one. Bob Kelly, Rich Voss, Colin Quinn, Jim Norton was the third mic on Opie and Anthony became the third mic. He was so good at that. He was third mic for 15 years on Opie and Anthony, and I learned about a lot of comics that I like now still, including like Tom Papa and Big J. Okerson, just from that presence of hearing them just talk.
Yeah.
So I put together a list of the comedians that I like, and I tried to narrow it down to 10, and I couldn't do it.
You failed.
You failed.
Dude, I started at literally like maybe 50 or 40, and I got it down to 20.
So here's the thing I wanted to just pose for the listeners here. So Kyle's listing his favorite comedians, yes, but the point of this is that this time of year, lots of depression, things like that, post-holidays, we're stuck inside. Give these people a listen. Watch their stuff on YouTube. Watch their specials on Netflix, Hulu, Prime,
Go see them in
Paramount,
person.
whatever. Go see them in person is
Absolutely.
a great
They tour all the time.
All the time, these people are always on tour. That's like their main bread and butter, right?
Yeah.
So,
Usually it's like smaller venues where it's like $15 a ticket, $20 a
yeah,
ticket.
like we saw, who did we go see?
We saw Mike Birbiglia.
Mike Birbiglia. It was great. It was a very small little place.
I gotta add him on
Great
the
guy.
fucking list.
But that's the thick flag. We take these names, and if you have not heard of any of these, or if you've heard of them and never dove into any of their material, like I know I haven't, give it a shot. Because when I was young, I got my first stereo in my bedroom, a big red and black Panasonic. I still have it in the attic. I love the thing to death. And I was big on burning CDs, and I didn't know how to do it. So I went downstairs to Kyle. He showed me. He pulled up iTunes. He pulled up LimeWire, and we made some CDs. And he made a comedy CD for me, and he's like, "You should listen to these. You're gonna love them." And I still listen to some of them today, including
Really?
Jim Gaffigan, Mitch Hedberg,
Ellen DeGeneres.
Ellen DeGeneres. I don't
Yeah.
really listen to her as much anymore. But what was
Louis
another one on there?
C.K. was
Louis
on
C.K.,
there.
Ray
Yeah.
Romano was
Ray
on
Romano,
there.
yeah.
He's a good stand-up.
Yeah.
Right.
Ray Romano's great.
Yeah, I love that because he talks about kids. He's like, a little of this, a little, talking about kids making noises. Like,
Yeah.
it's good. So Kyle knows funny is my point.
One of my favorite Ray Romano jokes, he goes, if you have twins and they're in the bathroom and the door's closed and you hear, whoa.
No, it was
Now let me see.
It was
whoa.
Wasn't it?
Ew. And he
Now
goes,
let me see.
I cracked the door open and there's one twin bent over and the other one spreading their cheeks apart.
God.
I want to spackle the door shut.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
But I have literally, I hate to say this and sound like, oh, me, but I've dedicated so much of my life to finding funny. And I've put together a list of who I think is funny, and here's a little reason why. I'd like to start the list off with who I think is one of, if I had to put together a Mount Rushmore, he'd be one of the four heads, and it's Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
And it's because Dave Chappelle can put out a special without, barely, it seems like he's just getting up and talking in his little jumpsuit and whatever. But I go back to his first two specials when it was in the 90s when he really was trying to prove himself in comedy. He gets you on a path, takes you on a story, and as soon as you think you have the story figured out,
Hey, baby.
he flips it. Exactly. Same exact thing. That's what I have.
Do you want me to play?
You have that clip?
Yeah, that's
oh,
my
really?
clip.
No way.
Well, usually you want to know when you're going to get like, I'm going to see some wild shit. I got to prepare myself. I'm going to see something crazy.
Dude, I didn't even know you were going to play this.
Yeah.
This is what he's talking
You're taking
about Washington, D.C.,
I
right?
had a limousine driver. It was after a show. It was late at night. It was like 3 in the morning. I had a limousine driver. He was a nice guy talking to me and shit. Oh, hey, where you from, dog? D.C.? Word?
Word?
That's a
leads
rough
up
city,
to-
man. And the cell phone started ringing. Hold on 1 second. Hello? Oh, what's up, nigga? What? What the fuck? Slow down. What? What the fuck? No! 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 Fuck that, nigga. Fuck it. I'm on my way.
I'm on my way.
It's part of the baby. It's in the limo scene when he's in the talking to me.
Hey. I gotta make a stop real quick.
I gotta make a.
But now pause it.
Yeah.
Listen to how the crowd's roaring, and he literally just explained his limo driver answering
he hasn't
a
even
phone.
got to the punch.
It gets to it eventually.
Yeah, the way
but
he just tells the story gets you.
and
entertaining.
Now
Yeah.
that you bring up the baby part, so he does a clip where he's talking about being in the ghetto at 3 a.m, and he sees a baby out on the corner, and he goes, "Baby don't belong out on the corner at night." And he rolls the window down and he goes, "Hey, baby," and he goes, "What are you doing out there?" He goes, "I'm selling weed. I got a family." And you just don't. And what I'm saying is,
You don't expect it.
It's
kinda.
funny, but you have everybody, when you're listening to something, you want to guess what's happening. You want to be linear with what's happening, and you just can't with Dave. You have to sit back and let it take you.
It sounds like he's such a good storyteller that he's able to guide you without you realizing it. Like whatever you're saying, I'm on the rails.
Yep.
And then he just hoodwinks you. Just
it's never what you expect. There's the second special he did. He opened the joke. He goes, "Somebody broke in my car, fucking stole a candy bar right off the front seat." He goes, "So I walked around the town, looked for somebody with a candy bar, saw this guy with chocolate all over his face. I said, 'Hey, where'd you get all that chocolate?' He goes, 'Chocolate? This is doo-doo, baby.'" The whole crowd.
This is doo-doo? Sprinkle some crack on him.
Right. Check it out. Yeah.
He's still here. Joe Rogan, number 2.
Okay.
And obviously Joe Rogan in his podcast is some powerful media presence right now, and that whole thing is kind of over in its own subcategory.
Yeah, because a lot of people forget he was actually a stand-up comedian as well.
He was a great stand-up comedian.
He calls out Carlos on stage.
Oh, that was crazy.
Wild.
Dude, and Carlos,
he ruined the stage. Yeah, go ahead.
He ruined Carlos Mencia's career because Carlos Mencia was stealing everyone's jokes.
Oh, but that's so funny. Remember that on South Park?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Dude, the Opie and Anthony's leading up to his confronting him, that's where he talks about all of that.
Fish sticks are so funny.
He's like,
"Oh, you okay, fish?"
Joe Rogan's like, all he does is he takes a joke and just puts Mexican on it. He goes, "Look, this joke by this comic, blah, 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 listen to this." And they play it. And then he's like, "Now listen to Carlos Mencia." And then Carlos Mencia put out a thing. He goes, "Joe Rogan thinks I'm stealing jokes. Well, guess what, bitches? Hell yeah, I'm stealing." He put it out, and then everyone's like, and Comedy Central was like, funny. "Whoa."
Yeah. That backfired real hard.
But what I like about Rogan's early comedy was it was very self-reflective on the fact that he was publicly out as a guy that experimented with all kinds of psychedelic drugs.
Yeah, he was a weirdo, but funny weirdo.
But the drugs weren't the joke. It was kind of his own reflection and experience on himself that when he would talk about the drugs, just everyday life, but with the drug part. And I think it was very crucial to building an audience for him to move into the podcast world. He's one of the first podcasters, and he brought a lot of those comedians that he came up with onto the podcast to build the base of the podcast.
The reason why he started the podcast, a lot of inspiration came from his interview with Tom Green,
which is the clip I have.
Oh, okay. Jesus Christ, am I a soothsayer?
Phil is a fucking clairvoyant.
Web vision. Okay,
so
cool. You're connected.
You're connected. Really connected. It really is different, you know?
Yeah.
This is Tom Green interviewing Joe Rogan.
It's like radio, but it's like television, and the genre is different because we can sit here and ramp. You know, there isn't that time constraint. You know, isn't that pressure? I mean, you know, we want to keep it moving.
Well, not only that, there's not a corporate pressure. See, the thing that fucked up television, the thing that fucked up.
He's like figuring out. He's like working his ears.
Money.
Pause it real quick.
They're selling advertising. So
there's many people, whether they like Joe Rogan or not, they consider that the birth of the modern era of podcasting. Because Joe Rogan said there's no...
Well, he conceptualized it in that moment.
There is no corporate entities. We can say what we want. No one's going to control us.
Yeah.
And we can just sit back and do... And that's when he started with like Red Band and Joey Diaz in the early days. I don't know if you've ever listened to old Joe Rogan, but...
Yeah.
Did you want me to keep playing it? Or?
Well, I know he was...
No, it was just an example of...
Sure.
He was really good at managing hecklers. He does a really good job. You can Google a lot of Joe Rogan.
Him managing hecklers is great.
Yeah, I love when people do that.
He dismantles
people just get their asses handed to them.
But back to what you were saying about the Mencia thing real quick. I forgot. Joe Rogan went to watch Carlos Mencia perform at the Comedy Cellar in New York, stood in the back, and then when Carlos Mencia walked off stage, Joe Rogan just went outside and beat the shit out of him.
Really?
Yeah, he just fucked him up. And nobody, and the comedy people were like, hey,
he deserves it.
Yep.
He does.
Justice.
Didn't write a damn thing.
Number 3 is a comedian that I think he's got to be up there. Dave Attell. Have you ever heard of Dave Attell?
I've heard you talk about him.
Dave Attell. So the clip that we have, I'm going to lead us up. Yeah, he had the Insomniac. Yeah. So Dave Attell is one of those guys where he can kind of lull you with a story and kind of get you into a scenario and then do the whole like the Dave Chappelle thing.
Dark's like
drones on and then I was over there and there was a gay clown and I was like, what the fuck are you? Like he throws these obscurities into the thing. Don't play the clip yet.
Okay, just point to me or
clip,
something.
So one of the other comedians we're going to get to is Patrice O'Neal.
Yeah.
Patrice O'Neal was huge on Opie and Anthony. He was one of their biggest comedian guests. He inspired everybody. He was Bill Burr's best friend. Only time I've ever listened to radio and cried was 2 times, and it both involved Patrice. But Patrice died. Opie and Anthony opened the doors. They fired out a signal and said, any New York comedians, just come in and talk about it. Let's get this off our chest. It was very hard to listen to them. They were fucking distraught over this because it wasn't planned, Patrice. He had a stroke, and it was very quick.
I was thinking about, not to cut you off, but I was thinking about him the other day because I was watching The Office. And I'm like, what would it be?
He was in The Office.
Wait, which one was he in The
Patrice.
Office?
He was
big African-American guy.
He was one of the guys in the...
Not Craig Robinson, the other guy.
First
No,
season.
I know.
Damn it, Michael.
In the first season?
Yeah.
In the first two seasons.
Oh, I think I skipped
So the
seasons.
safety episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he goes,
after.
damn it, Michael.
Oh, he's one of the guys from the warehouse.
Yes.
And then,
yeah, I know what you're talking
I'll
about.
show you. When he bigs like 6'7".
Yeah, because they're talking about like how they have real safety issues downstairs.
And then he goes, tell your woman to shut up, Ryan. And like,
that's him.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that joke is that's what Patrice is known for, about the women and men humor. We'll get to that.
But like, I thought, like, what would this show be if his presence was
still
continuous?
Dude, the comedy world would be totally different.
He
if
was
it
so
for him.
funny.
He didn't care. He went on Fox News, and they were interviewing him about something. We'll get to Patrice, but
I thought we were on him. I'm sorry.
No, we're on David Tell still. But Patrice went on Fox News, and everything that they planned on talking about, he's like threw it out the window and explained why the angry pirate isn't a sexually explicit joke and why it's funny. And they're like, oh shit, get this guy out of here. David Tell, everybody's sad. They're talking about Patrice. Somebody cracks a little joke, and then Dave says this.
You see it on Twitter, and you see how many people
This is Anthony.
love the guy.
Yeah, but how many paid to see him, huh?
Yeah, that's true.
I hate to be the
Trashing him.
Come out of the
I hate to be the
Wow. Play it.
douche and bag of the conversation here, but yeah, everybody loves him for free. We got a purple suit to buy and a gigantic coffin. All right,
Gigantic
things happen.
Wow.
Is that for Patrice? Yeah, wow.
There's a day he died.
A purple suit and
And
a big coffin.
you hear Joe DeRosa cackling in the background. It was just, I remember listening to that when it happened, like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
But the first person that would have laughed at that would have been Patrice.
Yeah,
That's
the
how you
point.
honor them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. That's what. Yeah, it's their whole thing.
Number 4 is a force to be reckoned with. It's obvious. It goes without saying. Shane Gillis is huge right now.
Yeah.
He's actually been huge for quite a while. I met Shane at a Sixers game. He couldn't have been a nicer guy. We had,
I just wanted to be a dick.
I met Shane Gillis at a Sixers game, and we took a picture because we had the heavy slime stuff on. Remember, we talked about that. He was super cool, super funny, but I like him talking with Matt McCusker on his podcast, Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast. He's just situationally funny. His observations on things are funny. Him talking about, in one of his stand-up specials at Live in Austin, he talks about how states went through the first what's the limit of like the sex age?
Age of consent.
Age of consent.
Yeah, the one guy
He
was like 14.
12. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
ew, dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck? He's
Oh,
like, I didn't
no.
want to go first. Like, it's very funny and very, like, how they came up with the Special Olympics. He's like, that was probably, he talks about controversial things and the origins of those controversial things.
He's a lot like Bill Burr, where you're like, oh, is he going down that road? Is he going
is he
down that?
doing
And then
this?
he kind of brings it back.
But he's
And
good with
But
history,
he dances
too.
on it, kind of like,
Yeah.
as if it's
And
like
sometimes he crosses,
it's pointing the
but-
idiocracy
A lot of
up, pointing out more the idiocracy of that topic's existence than the
Yes.
topic itself.
And he does a lot with history. He has a lot of historical perspectives on things.
Yeah.
My favorite thing that he's ever done is when he plays Guy Fieri, but he was in Vietnam.
Oh,
So when
yeah,
he's like,
the Gillian
he's
Keane
like,
skit.
yeah, he's like Guy Fieri, and he has these flashbacks in the middle of the shooting
Yes.
of the
Yeah.
diners, dives,
Really?
and drives.
Yeah.
And it's like and like, oh fuck, bummer, man. Let's get back to cooking.
Yeah.
It's so good.
What is
Yeah.
that, a YouTube sketch or
It's
something?
got
He
it,
used to
yeah.
have this YouTube sketch comedy thing. It was Gillian Keeves.
That's so funny.
It's
So
just
good.
sketch comedy. Very, very smart. I think
Bleached hair, flame shirt.
yeah.
he does a good Donald
What
Trump.
if Guy Fieri was like a
Vietnam
vet?
flash, yeah.
He's just a normal knockaround guy. If you listen to his
No, that's
podcast
funny.
3 years ago, he's literally talking about his cat and like playing NBA 2K5. Like he just seems like the kind of guy where like if you ran into him in a bar, it wouldn't be like the hilarious laughing your ass off all night at the bar kind of thing. He just seems like he'd be a cool hang.
Yeah.
And can, just give you a different perspective on things.
And
I think,
Lauren said he didn't want to fire him.
No, he did not.
No, it was NBC
do you know about
executives.
that? Like
yeah.
how he got fired and hired the same day?
Yeah, I looked it up. I forget the story now, but I
So-
do know that it was not SNL specifically or anybody involved in SNL. It was the network.
And they brought him back because of the backlash.
They didn't bring him back.
They had him host.
It wasn't bring him back. It wasn't because of the backlash. It's because he's a popular comedian and he was on tour.
Well, they felt bad about firing him for that because so many people were, like, got upset about it. And SNL saw a literal, not a revolt, but literally they saw how many people were upset about that.
Okay.
And that's why they brought him back. And
I don't. Okay.
I love the family going to the Jamaican church.
That was funny. I
that
forgot
was
about
so
that.
good.
Yeah.
And when he was the State Farm rep, that was so good.
I forget that. I have to watch that episode again.
It's funny as hell.
Actually, Full Slice alumni is number 5, Jim Florentine.
Yeah, he was a regular comedian in New Jersey circuit too, and we
New
talked
Jersey,
to him for
New
a
York,
while.
PA. Very
On the podcast years ago, we talked to him on the podcast, and he brought up some of his old stories that he used to tell and his thing. Actually, I saw him on Fox this past week.
He's very big right now.
He was on Gutfeld.
But the cool thing about Jim Florentine, he's New Jersey funny. He understands New Jersey is a source of comedy for people all over the country.
What was his story about putting boogers on
He would get on the turnpike in PA, drive all the way to New York, and him and whoever was in the car, whenever they had a booger, they would wipe it on the ticket for the turnpike. Remember, you have to get a ticket? I know. And then he'd give it to the turnpike lady, and she goes, "Ew, what is this?" He goes, "Oh, we were eating the sandwich. I think it's like lettuce or something." Yeah. He has a really deep voice. He did Crank Anchors. He would do...
he was on Crank Anchors.
I'm thinking of someone named Greg, I think. He's bald. He's a comedian as well.
I don't know who. No,
he was on Presidency.
Greg Fitzsimmons.
Yeah,
I love Fitzy Dog.
His
Come on.
dad was a.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
They just interviewed him again. He's one of their most frequent guests, which
funny.
I just learned that. But Jim Florentine's very cool. He's very crude, but he can also be. He understands who he was in the 80s, and he's okay talking about it.
Yeah, he's not like...
Here's a clip of him talking about being in a bar, and some stripper thinks he's someone else.
Jerked him. But I had to call. I felt like I had to call the kid the next day. I didn't want to.
Some chick in Canada thought you were some fucking ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Did you fucking?
Wait, what was that?
Jim's a genius. He just played it off. What was the fucking?
Some stripper in Canada said we were at a strip club, me and Bob Levy, and she's like, "Curtis," and I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Curtis from Calgary?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "You remember me?" I'm like, You don't remember me. I'm like, well, your hair's different. You always go to the hair.
Yeah.
The day before, it's different.
It's smart.
Yeah, I used to have a perm. Yeah, see, that's it. Yeah. You remember me? And I'm like, yeah, I sort of. She's like, you know what this asshole did to me? And Bob's like, what? She goes, he picked me up at a bar. His band played one night, and we went to back to his house. We had sex.
Just nodding yes, like yeah.
We had sex, and she goes, and then you threw me out and made me walk home in a snowstorm like 3 miles, and it's something that I would have done. You know what I mean?
He sounds like Sam Morril.
Yes.
You know, that comedian is really.
I love the on the fly. Like, I'm just doing this for fun. Like, I'm not. There isn't even an audience.
Yeah.
That's a story he wasn't prepared to tell, and Norton extracted it from him.
Yeah, he's like I heard
so
this.
funny. And then number 6 on my list is Jim Norton. So Jim Norton was the third
Please
mic.
be offended.
Yeah. You knew that?
I'm reading the title of the clip. Yeah.
Okay.
You know?
I do.
Jim Norton is he's spent his whole life figuring out who he was. He was very awkward, very like no confidence, just in a bunch of different social circles, and it just built him up for this, like, you know what? I'm weird and lame, and I'm just going to talk about it.
Like Patton Oswalt.
Holy shit, we love to watch. And I think people use this eggshell walking that we do to their advantage. Like, people play semantics games. Like in New York, the big story for the last couple of years, they want to put a mosque at Ground Zero in New York City, which, yeah, I would prefer they didn't. But I don't want the government to tell them that they can't either. You can't legislate anything with religion. I have no legal argument. And here's my whole legal argument. Why don't you want that mosque at Ground Zero?
This funny observation. I think he's very quick. He's probably the most quick-witted comic I've ever heard. They did an episode on Opie and Anthony where they had Jesse Ventura sit in. You know who Jesse Ventura is, and he goes
wrestler, ex-senator.
Jim and him were debating back. Ex-senator, ex-wrestler. They were going back and forth, and Jim said something that pissed him off, and he goes, you know what? I'm out of here, guys. Bye, guys. And Jim goes, bye, Jess. He goes, thanks you for your service, and he hits him because Jim didn't do any service. He was making fun of him. He goes, thanks for touching me with your fucking Rocky Horror riffraff hairdo, and it got the biggest laugh. Like, you hear the producers and the people running the board like crying, laughing in the back.
Yeah.
And it was ballsy because Jim's like 5 feet and Jesse Ventura's like 7 feet.
Yeah.
It was very, very cool.
Yeesh.
Jim is one of my favorite people in the whole world. Number 7. This is my personal favorite comedian that exists. His name is Colin Quinn.
Yeah.
Colin Quinn is a comedian that uses history and historical events and creates all these really, really funny scenarios. He's very quick-witted. He's the kind of guy that could sit down, you could throw anything at him, and he will make it funny. One of my favorite clips from him is if you look at a medieval photo from St. Peter's Basilica, it looks like a 1990s Def Jam release record because everybody has jewelry on and baller bracelets and shit. So here's a clip of Colin.
But the Barbie movie, first of all, the Barbie movie, I don't care what anyone says. I was around for the original Barbie when Barbie showed up. My sister's like, back in the old days, Barbie first existed. And that's when I say gender specificity, it exists. Horror of horrors. There's a difference, even as little kids. Because my sister's got the Barbie, they nurture, you know what I mean? Instinctively comb her hair, nice outfit, set up the stupid kitchen, whatever. They leave for 10 minutes. Me and my brother, we never even thought about it before. They come back, but we stripped her naked. Her legs are split.
Good Lord.
The kitchen's in disarray. My mother came in like a profiler. This is the work of a white male between the ages of 5 and 7.
Do you ever do that? Like, I remember vividly going over to a friend's house in the neighborhood, and we went in the basement and played with her Barbies and just ripped the legs off.
Oh,
of
yeah.
it. Like, and Court told me she did the same thing. Cut the hair, like, just beat the piss out of them.
But I'm in control. I have power.
Yeah.
I don't have control over my life, but I have control over this.
I'm gonna cut this hair.
Yeah.
I like how he'll sit like he'll always call somebody out if they say so, if they're trying to be too, like, if I ask you a question and you answer me wholeheartedly and the way Phil would answer a question, I take that as an answer.
Yeah.
But if I see you treading lightly and trying to go, Colin would call you out. Like, there's another comedian named Rich Voss. He goes, "Hey, how did your show go this weekend in Canada or whatever?" He goes, "Hey, everybody that was funny, they were really funny." Colin's like, "Oh, that's fair, Mr. Mr. What do they call it? Fuck. What are you doing?"
I'm trying to subtly tell you that we should do a break soon. And you stop it. Everybody.
He goes,
what's Tyler doing?
He goes, "Oh, that's real fair. The benevolent king has spoken." Like, he calls people out on their shit, and I like that a lot.
That's cool.
Well,
nice. How far down? How many do you have on your list?
We're on number 8. We're out of 20. Yeah.
All right, then 2 more, and then we'll take a break. Go
All right, sounds good. So Rich Voss, he lives in New Jersey. He's a Jewish American comic who talks a lot about things like that, a lot of cultural stuff. He's stingingly quick. He has excellent wraparounds. I like comedians that make a joke early on in the game, and then at the end they can call back.
Callbacks.
Yeah,
the callbacks.
He's the
Reach rounds.
callback reach around king.
I love when people reach around.
Yeah, it's so good. Feel
Rich
great.
Voss, very stingingly
Who
quick.
is that? You know, like, who is it? You don't know.
It's Rich Voss, dude. It's
Rich
what
Voss.
It's who he is.
Rich Voss is reaching around,
But he also he has his teeth have been fixed, so he kind of talks like
he
this
talks like
sometimes.
a- yeah?
He talks
Never
like that,
mind.
and Jim Norton makes fun of him. Colin Quinn said, "Don't talk too close to Siri, your phone will get water damage." Like, just trashing him.
It's like
I like that.
oh, go ahead.
And there, he likes the fact that he can. He's proud of his Jewish heritage, and he's always talking about deals and money and all this stuff. And Colin always calls him out about it. He went to a fair in New Jersey and said, "I wanted 6 shrimp, but I only were selling 4, so I traded him 2 tickets for a Ferris wheel." And then Colin Quinn is just sitting. You hear Colin be quiet, and he keeps talking and talking and talking. And Opie goes, "What were you thinking about that, Rich, or something like that?" And Colin goes, "No, he was thinking about the exchange rate between Scungili and bumper cars." like just out of nowhere. It's just so funny, dude.
Wow. Yeah, it seems to be a common theme here with your list is like the people that can think quick and turn anything into funny.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything into funny.
That's a huge talent.
It's not anyone can do it.
Not everybody can do it. You put somebody on the spot just to list ingredients for something or something. They're like, apples and onions. I don't know. Get too much pressure.
So the next comedian I have, you actually know who this comedian is too, Phil. We've talked about this. He's probably the newest on my list, but he's also the one I've seen come in like... This guy has come in like a force. Yeah. He has come in so strong. I've seen him on so many different podcasts, so many different comedy specials. Brutally honest, good comedian Ralph Barbosa.
Barbosa.
I love him. He's
I have not heard of him.
early
Very
20s,
funny.
Spanish, awesome.
Great delivery.
Great delivery is very like, he'll tell a story and be like, yeah, that's exactly what, like he's
thinking about it, like
very matter of fact. Yes, he's so good, and I have a clip of him.
Yeah.
Try to eat healthy. Like I'm a type 1 diabetic, and a lot of people don't believe me when I say that. I think it's because I'm real slim. You know, it's kind of like hearing a really ugly dude tell you he got herpes. Because people just look at you like, you got it? Like you think you got it, or a doctor told you got it? Well, a doctor did tell me. I was diagnosed like at 6. And I had that same doctor from when I was 6 up until I was 18, which is a long time to have one doctor. So when I left, I thought it'd be nice to leave him a review on his website. Who knows him better than I do, you know? I was like, this man was my doctor for the last 12 years. And I am still diabetic.
Oh gosh,
That's
I like
funny.
him a lot.
I'll have to check him out. Does he have specials on the streaming platforms?
Yeah,
and
he
stuff?
does.
one.
Yeah, Netflix. It was really good.
Okay.
He does one about his grandmom. So he lived with his grandmother, and the school called home, and his grandmother couldn't answer it because she didn't speak English. So she's like, "Here, you tell him." And they're saying like he wasn't in school, like he was skipping class, his grades real bad. And his grandma was like, "Como se dice?" Like, what did they say? He's like, "They said I'm doing very, very good." Really funny. And then to round out the first 10, comedian you know as well, Joe DeRosa.
Yep.
I love Joe DeRosa. Joe DeRosa is, I'm a big fan of self-deprecating comics because I feel like that keeps you honest.
Yeah.
If you can joke about yourself, you can joke about anything.
Sure.
I truly feel that. And Joe DeRosa talks about the dating scene and the drinking scene in New York. He's a New York City born and bred New York City comic. He's Egyptian, adopted. Like he has all these really fun topics to talk about, and he talks about the city and the culture of the city. Just a very smart, witty comic. He's also a video game nerd. I've talked to him extensively about Atari games. I've actually seen him at Columbus Market buying video games. Like he's a cool guy, and he's funny, and he has no problem playing big venues. He just had a big special, but he also will play like, you know, Florence train station. Like
My town.
He played Phoenixville, right?
It would be helpful, maybe, I just thought about it at the end of this, like if there's a special somewhere or something, or just like if it's on Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, whatever.
List it.
Yeah, just to say where you can watch some of his stuff.
I mean, it's on all the, there's all different platforms. Everybody's everywhere.
Everybody's everywhere, so go find everyone.
Okay.
There.
But yeah,
right.
that's the first 10. We'll get to the second 10 after a quick break.
Yes, be right back. More Full Size Podcast and the other half of Kyle's comedians list after this.
Welcome to Full Size Podcast. I see you have your black tie, your basketball shorts, and your Uggs. You need a haircut, and you haven't shaved in 5 days. Welcome aboard, my friend. Enjoy your stay.
Hey man, this is Vinny Brand from the world famous Stress Factory Comedy Club, and you are listening to the greatest full-size podcast in history.
Yes, welcome back. Full Size Podcast. Yes, Full Size Podcast. We are right now in the middle of trying to cure the winter blues here after the holidays. We
Giving
are
you tons of
now
suggestions.
stuck in January, boring nothingness. Why not find some funny on TV, on the internet?
Find that funny.
Kyle's listing some of his favorite comedians that you can go ahead and dig in for yourself. So
20 comedians that I think are the best ones out there right now.
How do you have so many of those? That's the second one today.
I don't know. Sorry.
Frank, are you okay in there?
Frank. All right, number 11. Bob Kelly. You know Bob Kelly.
I know Bob Kelly.
Bob Kelly's an awesome guy. I did a live with him not that long ago. Super, like, down to earth, just salt of the earth, just knock around guy. Like, you could tell he's been through it.
What's he been through? The car wash?
No, just life. Like, he's been through life.
He's been through it.
He goes through fats and skinnies. He calls it like, oh, I'm on my third fat, my fourth fat, my, you know what I mean?
That's funny. Yeah.
And he's very honest about his weight and his struggles with weight. He's just
got
very
Filbert glasses.
Yes. He wears Filbert glasses.
Yeah. They're very thick.
He's just very honest about life. He's a dad. He's a husband. He's just very honest, good, genuine comedian. And I don't think anybody would have a problem finding him to be very funny.
Okay.
And then number 12 is definitely on my Mount Rushmore with Dave Chappelle would be Bill Burr.
Of course.
I think Bill Burr.
We already talked about him today. Even.
I know. We already talked about it even before we even did this.
Yep.
His societal observations, I think, are great. He has a really easy time calling out complete, like, full categories of culture.
Yeah.
He has full-blown conversations about things that are sometimes taboo.
He's got a lot of Carlin in him.
A lot of Carlin.
Oh, yeah. Well, he'll touch on political topics like Carlin did, but he's very centered in it, though.
Yeah. He breaks it down and shows the corruption.
Yeah, he's very reasonable with all of his
Boston comic,
opinions.
Open to getting trashed, too, because he could trash back. He doesn't get offended by anything. Yeah. And I know that you're a Bill Burr fan, too.
Definitely, yeah. I've seen it a couple times. As a Conan fan, too. Like, once you get Conan, if Conan approves him, it's like kind of like...
Yeah.
Oh, his Conan.
This is Oprah's book club of comedians.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm like, I'm a suburban stay-at-home whatever in that regard.
Yeah,
like I need that stamp
suburban
of
stay-at-home whatever.
Yeah.
You need Conan's stamp of approval. I can't wait for everybody to love the Oscars again. By the way, speaking of, because he's hosting it soon.
Awesome.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, man, without a doubt.
I got to see those movies, or is it Oscars movies? Right?
Yeah, we got to get PJ back in for that one.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll get PJ in for that.
Perfect. Let's do it.
But I just saw a clip with Rick Glassman, and Bill Burr was on it recently, and it's one of the few people that can make Bill Burr laugh. And if you can make Bill Burr laugh, it's
that. You know who would make Bill Burr laugh?
Good.
Yeah.
I noticed that. It's tough to get him to laugh.
Yeah.
You know who would make him laugh would be the comedian Jim Norton I talked about when Jim was on Opie and Anthony.
Oh, yeah?
When he was self-deprecating, Bill would lose it.
Oh, I'm sure.
So you sent me the clip. This is showcasing Rick Glassman, but I think Bill Burr's on it too? Okay.
I'm from Cleveland. Boy, my arm's tired. Oh. And, how did you make that work? That was actually funny.
How did you
I have to tell you, I've done Boy, Are My Arms Tired in the wrong spot at least 3 times every episode. I have never gotten a laugh. I love it. I've gotten a laugh 2 times, and I'm going to brag. I did it once to Conan.
I was teaching a 2-day comedy class.
It was...
You're teaching it?
Taking...
Wow!
To you.
Yeah.
The only people that laughed at it.
Well, we're both old redheads that like old school comedy.
I should do a special in front of... Just call it Redheads.
It's called Gingers.
He's smart, funny.
Yeah. And he's good, and he's there for the conversation. Whatever it is, he's like, hell yeah, let's do it. Like, I love his approach to stuff. Like he takes it all. He's not like, that's stupid, I want to talk about something else. Like, he's here for it.
Discount it.
Yeah.
He did an episode in the early 2000s where he went to his first NASCAR race and was talking.
An episode of what?
Opie and Anthony.
Oh, I should have guessed. Yes.
Yeah. He talks about his first NASCAR race and how that went. I think if you want to look up Bill Burr, type Bill Burr redneck sayings. You'll find it. It'll be the first video.
All right.
His take on cruises is amazing.
Oh, yeah. They should sync him. Yeah.
Since Bill Burr is a big name and a lot of people know him and stuff like that, are there actual like specials on streaming platforms to watch for?
There's tons.
Paper Tigers, the most recent
one.
one.
That's the only one that I know by name, but yeah.
He's on a lot.
What's that on?
Netflix.
Netflix?
It's also on Spotify.
Spotify.
All of his stuff's on Spotify.
Good, because Netflix fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Their pricing sucks. Like, we wanted to get it the other day, not for the fight, which I'm glad we didn't, by the way, but because we're looking to get streaming services for some of our favorite stuff, but like $6.99 for ones with ads with like 500 or something titles excluded from it, or $14.99 a month.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, who the hell do you think you are? Not pirating. Pirates' life is life for me. Yo ho.
Yeah, there you go.
That's bullshit.
Speaking of pirates, number 13, Theo Vaughn.
Theo Vaughn.
He's a pirate.
He's a pirate?
He is...
They launched him out of a white trash cartoon, but like he's hilarious.
Yeah, he looks like right, with his mullet, right?
Yeah.
I like how they'll be telling a story, and he'll have a story associated with it from back home. From
just like a redneck.
I meant that in the most respectful way possible.
What?
I meant that launched out of a white trash. Yeah.
He's like
back rock room.
Yeah, we had a guy with no arms. He'd fuck you up. Like he just tells funny stories. Him with a comedian named Joey Diaz, who didn't make my list, but he was on the 50 or 30 that I had to narrow
Sorry,
down.
Joey.
Joey Diaz is very funny, but him and Joey Diaz together telling stories. It's just really, really funny. He's like, man, I used to work with a guy that he was a tattoo artist, and he practiced tattooing on hamsters, and then he'd sell hamsters at a fair. And Joey Diaz is just dying in the background, like trying to get rid of it.
Hamster with his tramp stamp.
But I think I think he's a good interviewer
Yeah,
too.
right.
He's a good interviewer. He's very honest.
Ham stamp.
Ham stamp.
Sorry.
It was really funny, but he's honest about his sobriety, and he's a very good interviewer. I think he gets a lot of shit out of people.
He did that cooking show with the two individuals with Down syndrome.
Yes.
That was really wholesome. It was
very wholesome.
really nice.
Really?
Yeah, it was super sweet.
Very good.
Wasn't expecting that kind of review.
And I recently saw he got he didn't get any controversy. He's claiming that Little Dicky stole his jokes on the show Dave.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, so that was pretty interesting. There's like
Carlos Holmes, do you like fish sticks, bro? Oh.
Dave's a good show, but I can see he did have a joke about a wooden shirt, and then the next season there was a wooden shirt joke in Dave.
Seriously?
Yep.
Yeah.
See, that's weird. That's too weird. That's too specific to just we both came up with that.
Yeah, it's like Amy Schumer stealing Patrice's O'Neill joke.
Oh my God,
What joke
you're
was that?
right.
It was something about, well, he says the gorilla face when this is going to get really gross. Children, listen, not. Don't listen. Listen, not. I'm a
Children,
Yoda.
listen. Oh.
So basically, Patrice O'Neill's joke was, it's the gorilla face. When the guy busts in the girl's face, you throw pubic hair. And then her joke was the Abraham Lincoln, same concept.
Yeah, she stole that from him.
Okay.
But
All
the
right.
cadence was the same as well.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like, I'm going to take it and make it a little bit different, and then I could just say, oh, I just came up with it too.
It's organic.
I changed it and made it my own idea
Yeah.
based off of your idea.
It's wild.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so Theo Vaughn, definitely worth it. Checking out. You
Worth
find him
the
on
time.
YouTube.
Okay.
This past weekend podcast, and then 14's Patrice. So Patrice O'Neill was a comedian's comedian. He was Bill Burr's favorite comedian because he didn't let anybody get away with any nonsense. He would call you out and make you the butt of the joke until you realize the error of your ways, and I loved that.
Yeah.
So when Patrice had a stroke, Opie and Anthony had Jim Norton, Colin Quinn, Bill Burr, Rich Voss, Bob Kelly, Jim Florentine, Keith Robinson. It was 8 comedians in the room, and you thought, man, this is going to be crazy. This is way too much. It wasn't. They told jokes. They trashed each other. They made it fun, but they also gave out the address, the P.O. box to send wishes to, well wishes to Patrice, and like cards and notes, and they really opened it up to the public because they knew it wasn't going to be a good ending. And then he died recently after that.
Yeah.
But he had such a long-lasting effect on these people, and the stories that they say is the funniest he was when they would. A lot of these comics would literally drive from New York up to Boston to do an hour set and then drive back, or they would drive up to Connecticut and come back, or down to DC and back. And Joe DeRosa, who we'll get to later, he got a ride from Patrice, and he's like, I didn't know what to do. He didn't want any money, so I made a mixtape. I made a mixtape CD. You petting Abby?
Yeah, I was going to have her sniff the mic and see if it came through. Sorry, go on.
So Joe DeRosa made him a mixtape of like rap songs he liked, and he goes, the second I handed it to Patrice, I knew that he was going to make fun of me.
Yeah.
Like, what are you trying to fuck me, dude? Like, yeah, we talked about Joe DeRosa, but yeah, Patrice O'Neill, and this is an episode of all the comics together.
I stayed cool. You gotta understand how tinted my windows are. Oh, you gotta understand this. Now, I look at him to try to give him like, for 30 seconds, we're looking at each other.
Pause it.
Like,
he's in a parking lot taking a nap on the road to drive to a gig, and this happens.
Gotcha.
just kind of staring. So I
guy walks
finally
up.
go, okay, this nigga ain't leaving. I turn my key backwards, crack my window about an inch. I go, what's up, man? He goes, it's cold out here. It's cold. It's cold out. I go,
cold out.
I go, what? He goes, it's cold out here. And he tries my handle on my door. He pulls my door handle.
Holy shit.
It's cold out here. Pulls my door. I said, what? Well, go inside.
Go inside.
I go, well, go inside. There's coffee in there. Now, I'm sitting there not thinking anything except for this is some crazy motherfucker
man.
who needs warmth. And I'm going, well, I'm sorry, dude, but You know, you're not gonna warm up in my fucking car. You know.
You thought you were a gangster fan.
And so he walks away. I'm looking at him, and I'm still not. My energy still isn't like, what the fuck? I'm just like, that was weird. You
That's
know,
a little
from
odd,
New York,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
So
energy.
I watch him. This motherfucker gets into a Subaru Outback with a Christmas tree on top. And drives away, and that's when the adrenaline kicked in. I said, "This motherfucker, he was gonna suck strange black dick before he went home to take a Christmas tree to his fucking family."
Yeah, dude, these road stories from comics are really good.
Wow,
lot lizards.
Yeah, it was a
It
guy.
was lot lizard, but then he was going home to his family to a Christmas
Lot
tree.
chameleon.
He set it up.
Chameleon.
This is like
Yeah, he set it up like it was just a white guy in a suit, like coming up to his car, like just. That's just him. That's not part of his bit. That's him just talking.
That's a story, man.
Yeah.
That's a story. That's the thing too. A lot of these comedians just have good stories,
Sure.
and they're good storytellers.
That's
and they're
what
just
it is.
funny stories. It doesn't even need to have a punchline. Doesn't need to be like a funny scenario that you made up. Like this has really happened to me. I'm telling the story. I'm a good storyteller, and that's the kind of thing that really
That's what I think is
hooks me.
That's what got me to do this list. They're just good storytellers. To hear Opie laugh like that never happened. Opie never laughed that heavy.
Yeah.
So like, there's one that it reminds me, like the storyteller part. There's one on my list, Drew Dunn.
Yeah, I saw that on your.
He's a chameleon. Speaking of chameleons,
Let's check him
Is
out.
there anything you miss from the UK? Is there anything that you wish you could bring over and have here?
Yeah, you can go for a walk after a pint in a pub and not get through some fields and not get shot.
Oh, not get shot. Yeah, by being able to walk through. Not. Have you been shot at here yet? Or are you just anticipating it at every moment? You can still get mugged in the UK. It's just no guns. They just chase you with a knife like it's a shitty Mary Poppins movie or something. Oh, that's good, mate. And where are you from in the UK?
Cambridge.
Cambridge. Oh, nice. Yeah, appreciate that. And where do you think I'm from, if you had to guess?
We do this. We judge each other, basically.
Yeah, you have to, because there's a different accent in every road in the UK. So you have to
Every
know
road.
where people are from.
Some of them are Nottingham.
Nottingham. That's close, actually. Yeah, actually, what if I told you I was from Boston? Would that yeah?
That's good, man.
They're
I
at
love
the
that.
Comedy Cellar. That's
the Comedy Cellar's legend. You see, every other comedian has a clip of them in the Comedy Cellar on YouTube.
Yeah. It was just cool that he.
They go there during the week, Monday to Thursday. You could go to the Comedy Cellar and see any like.
Where is Comedy Cellar actually?
In New York.
Oh, it is New York.
In,
Okay.
in
Yeah, that's
Greenwich
what I
Village.
thought. Okay.
You could go
There's
there
two,
and see.
right?
Yeah. You could see any comedian.
Two cellars.
Meaning like an entry-level comedian that paid $5 to be doing a set, and Colin Quinn would just walk up and say, "Hey, I'm gonna jump in here."
Aziz Ansari just walked up and did it one time.
Oh my god, I'm not even supposed to be here.
His set was decent. I liked it. The recent
Don't
one.
be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
You gotta watch Parks and Rec.
I know that.
You never watch? Oh,
yeah, I have. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm just letting you guys get it out of your system so I can talk about Tom
I took
Segura.
a couple sips of Red Bull and I'm ready for 3 more episodes. Go.
Tom Segura. I'm a
Tom Segura, of course.
big fan of Tom Segura.
I'm a fan.
But not on
No,
he didn't do
no.
good.
No podcasting Tom. I'm talking about comedy Tom.
Yeah, comedy Tom's
interview
good.
Tom.
Comedy Tom.
Podcasting Tom.
It's a little out there. But he not as good. I don't think he's actually not out there.
I was talking
should
about the
say
Tom Brady roast. Him with Bert
that
was not great.
this. No, good.
Not everybody hits it on the nail every
I'm watching the
every
clips
time.
with him and Matthew McConaughey. They're funny. They're real. Funny.
Oh yeah,
that was
I saw
pretty
clips
good.
on TikTok
Yeah,
from
you're
that
right, you're right.
interaction. He's somebody that can meld with anybody, McConaughey, and make
McConaughey
it funny.
vibes with
I like
anybody.
that. I like that about it. But yeah,
Tom Segura.
Tom Segura though.
His first special that I remember listening to was where he prides himself in being able to speak fluent Spanish.
He also prides himself on calling white people hunky.
Yeah, he
And
does.
That's hilarious.
The best thing that he said was when he says he pulled into a parking garage. He didn't have any money. He had to go to the ATM, and he goes, and I just prepared in my head like vámonos a la máquina y la guitarranero a la bella. And the guy just goes, je ne paye, je ne park.
Je ne paye, je ne park.
Like he literally said, I prepped for like 5 cars ahead of me. I'm just sitting there preparing. And then He just talks about his culture. He's a mixed bag of different things.
Yeah.
I just found his old comedy to be super honest, super fun, and I do think like his stuff with Bert obviously gets huge traction. Your Mom's House and Two Bears One Cave, blah blah blah. But just as far as comedy goes, I like his pentameter. I like the way in which he tells his information and tells his jokes.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Oh yeah,
what was that viral clip that he got Bert a teacup or something from Hitler or something?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Some kind of Nazi memorabilia.
Yeah. Let's see here. 16. I got Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. Yes, I have a clip.
Louis C.K. telling his story. You have a clip of Louis?
Yeah, you sent me a clip of Louis C.K. I think.
I don't have a clip of Louis.
What do I have?
Let's see what you have.
It's just this.
I was watching YouTube today. I was watching one of the ads that comes on before the video.
I
don't skip those. I think that's rude.
I didn't pull this out of thin air.
Somebody worked hard on that ad. They trained a cheetah to run alongside a Jeep Cherokee. And you're at home like 3, 2, 1, fuck off. Fucking me. What if you made something?
It's so true. Like they put so much work into it, and they're like 5 seconds off.
Louis C.K.
Anyway, the ad was
He said he was talking on he was talking about being on one of the first people on a flight where they were testing Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi worked, and the guy all of a sudden it went out and stopped, and they said, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Wi-Fi is not going to be working." Blah blah blah. The guy next to him goes, "This is fucking bullshit." He goes, "Dude, it didn't exist like the last time you were on an airplane." He's like, "We didn't even have it. Like, how can you be that ungrateful for life
already?"
And then he goes, that flight, they thought the plane was going to crash that flight. And the guy that was like freaking out, Louis like, yeah, now is when you get upset. Now is what you worry about, not the Wi-Fi.
He does a great job of calling out assholes.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And he doesn't fucking care. He will call you out, tell you exactly what you're doing, and just be like, and you're stupid, shut up. Like, I love how dry he can insult people.
I like his character on Parks and Rec. Talk about Parks and Rec a minute ago.
Yeah, Dave.
He tells a great story about when he got a bunch of money from his first special. He didn't know what to do with it, so he just went and bought a boat. He's like, I never bought a boat before. I never even drove a boat. He goes, so I'm just out driving a boat with my father, who I don't really have a relationship with, but I called him and said, hey, I got a boat. And my 75-year-old father was with me on a boat. I don't have it trimmed right, so the boat's just smacking against the water. I hear my father's skeleton shattering as we're going through the boat. And it started raining. The boat got stuck in the mud. And he goes, me and my dad are sitting there with my 2 daughters getting rained on as our boat is sinking, stuck in the mud. And this little Spanish kid runs up to the edge of the water and goes, hey, Louis C.K. is raining out. That just got such a fucking huge laugh. I just thought it was funny. Number 17, he would be the third head on the Mount Rushmore, would be Jim Brewer.
Jim Brewer. I've heard you talk about him before.
Jim Brewer is he does a lot of impressions of, he can do like a lot of metal voices. He does a good impression of the guy from AC/DC.
Oh, Metallica, right?
Metallica.
Yeah, I remember you showing me that.
But he doesn't smoke weed.
Yeah.
He goes, I got into an elevator in Vegas one time, and Jack Nicholson walked in and goes, ugh, you look how I feel. Yeah. And he goes, I was just standing
Yikes,
there.
Jack Nicholson to say that?
And Jim Brewer is very funny. Talks about family life. He talks about being a dad and a husband and all that stuff and all the things associated with it, but also the craziness of becoming famous while being just a normal dad and like all the things that come with it. He tells stories like when he first got money. And a lot of these funny stories come from these comedians understanding like, okay, I just got a check for like $500,000 and I've literally only made a couple $100 a week for my whole life. He goes, I got 2 houses. I rented them in Myrtle Beach. We had the kid house and we had the do whatever you want house. He goes, in the do whatever you want house, he goes, we were lighting fireworks off and we just see coming down the police. They come over, don't light off your damn firework. Like, he does such good voices. They set the garbage on fire and they put that out. Then they set the side of the house on fire. It just tells a good.
Whoa.
He can weave such a good
arson.
Yeah, by
do
accident.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
Arson.
By
by accident.
He weaves a very. And they went to the grocery store and bought spray paint and spray painted the grass so that it didn't look burned, so that they didn't lose their security deposit.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, very, very smart, very good comedian. 18 is the crowd work king, Big J Okerson.
Yeah.
That's his set.
Local guy.
He doesn't. Yeah, he's from Philly. He doesn't have a set either. He literally walks up and just be like, "Look at you. What's the story with you guys dating?" So here's a little clip of him.
Big J, right?
Yep.
It's your husband. Aw. Long time? How long? Been together 20, married 18? What a success story. That never happens anymore. Hell yeah.
Now what?
Yeah, here it comes.
I didn't know they were going to clap, but now the people who didn't clap seem like pieces of shit. You guys don't love, you cynical fucks.
Just quit.
20 years together. Boo. No, guys. Whatever. What's the secret to making it work that long? Kids? Do you have kids? Yes. Stubbornness is how you keep it together? What does that mean? How so? Is this it? Are you doing it to me right now? I'm not going to answer your fucking question. This guy is being...
So another one that I had on my list, Jessica Kirshen. She's actually Zach Braff's stepsister.
Oh.
But she's really good. She's really good at crowd work.
Is she? Okay, cool.
Love your bag. Can I see your bag? I won't go through it. I'm Jewish. I don't need the money. It's open. Can I go through it? What is lotion? I don't use lotion. I don't care enough about myself. Your phone. What else is in there? Do you have pills? I don't want it. I don't need it. There's no pills in it. What else is in there? Your wallet? Lip gloss? No, I don't use I love that you just asked me. Do I look like I use lip gloss? Seriously, just from knowing me for like 7 minutes. Do you think I use lip gloss? I'm wearing a little bit of makeup so I don't look dead. But
That's funny. That's good, man. I love the crowd work kind of stuff. Is again the thinking on the feet, the improv muscle flexing. That is very entertaining.
I saw him live at the Camp Out for Hunger with Dave Attell.
Big J Okerson?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a couple that had no idea what they were getting into.
Does he always wear gloves?
Yes.
Okay.
He used to. Now he doesn't.
Gloves.
Yeah, he's got a phobia of certain things.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's just a weird thing.
Yeah.
But there was a couple that was sitting there that was clearly at Xfinity Live, just eating dinner, and just got involved in the Camp Out for Hunger without knowing it. And he's just like, you see him narrow in on these people, and I'm like, oh my god,
you're targeted.
You can tell they're down with it.
He goes, look at you guys. You guys
acquired.
Yeah. He goes, you guys don't look like a pair. He goes, how does it work with you guys? Like, how'd you nail down such a pretty lady? He goes, I got it. You have a dick like a traffic cone. And you just see them they just left. I was like, oh, fuck that.
Well, maybe she wanted to find out.
They had no idea.
She's like, you know what? That just reminded me. Let's go.
Dave Attell was there. I peed next to Dave Attell. I was like, hey, man, big fan. He's like, of pissing? I was like, no, of you. Like,
of pissing?
It was really funny.
Will you sign my...
Dave Attell.
Will you sign mine?
Somebody gave him food.
Like, when it gets bigger, you can see it. You can read it.
At the homeless thing, or at not the homeless thing, at the Camp Out for Hunger, somebody asked him if he was there for a food donation because he looked like he was a homeless guy.
Yeah.
He wears a hood with a hat on top of the hood to hold the hood down because in New York.
He's got that like scraggly beard.
Are you here
right?
for food?
Wait, does he have a beard?
Yeah, he has a beard. But he's a New York comic. He knows the wind. He knows if you wear a hood and you turn the corner, it'll rip your hood off. So he puts a hat on over the hood. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
We know what he's doing.
Yeah, what you doing?
Next.
Let's see. Sam Talent is.
Yes.
He's an up and coming comedian. I did a live with him. He was very, very funny.
An Instagram live.
Yeah. I did IG live. Yeah.
IG. Share it on the stories.
Yeah. Very self-deprecating. Very. He's one speed. I like comedians that don't get too amped up and then back down, and up and then back down. He's very like.
Yeah, Chris Rock does that. He like does
yes, very low. Sam Talent is very. This is how I am, and I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and you're not gonna expect it. I think he's one of the funniest people out there right now. He has a new special on Netflix called The Toad's Morale. Really, really funny.
Okay.
Talks a lot about. He's a bigger guy. He has a beautiful wife who's a doctor, and he's a big comedian dude, and he's very open with how he feels about himself, and he's very self-deprecating, very honest, very quick wit, and he does some kind of crowd work too. Every once in a while something will happen and be like, what was that, sir? What did you just like? He's very very involved with the crowd, and
I love that.
Did you see he bought that piece that my friend made for him, the clown?
No, I didn't see
He did like
it.
a whole comedy clown thing, Zach Wooter.
Really?
And yeah, Sam bought one, Shane bought one.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Wow, I
it's
didn't
really
know
neat.
that.
What are these art pieces?
Yeah, Zach Woomer. But we'll share it afterwards.
Yeah, put it in this story. That's
but
cool.
he just did all like oil paintings of all these comedians as clowns, like traditional.
Oh, and Shane bought one, and
Sam definitely
and
bought one.
Sam
I'm
bought
pretty
one?
sure Shane or someone else bought one. But
Wow, that's
He did a
awesome.
whole bunch with Chappelle.
That's really interesting.
Talent. Yeah, hold on.
That's super cool. And then the last two wrapping up the list. Somebody Tyler and I saw together at Helium in Philly is Mike Birbiglia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Birbiglia has
TiVo pieces.
he has a lot of medical issues and he talks about them openly. Sleepwalking. He has night terrors.
Yep. One of the times he ran out of a hotel, he thought there was a missile being targeted.
Third story.
Yeah, he
jumped out the window.
That's
He goes,
right.
Russia had a missile that was targeted to my hotel room in Houston, and I jumped out of the room, and I didn't have any clothes on, and I ran into the lobby not knowing what was going on and said, "What about the missile?"
He's very calm demeanor.
Very calm.
He has a great movie he made. I don't know the name of it, but
Sleepwalk with Me. It's
it's an actual movie.
Oh, it's a
like-
movie?
yeah, it's like
Oh, I didn't know
Keegan
that.
Michael Key's in it.
That's right. I did see something about that.
It's about comedians.
Yeah, it's about comedians.
And one of them gets a break, and then the rest of the friend
I
group.
thought it was Sleepwalk with Me.
I thought it was too.
Was it? Okay,
I think it
maybe
might
was.
be.
All right,
Because
all right.
you're going with me. We're doing this together.
Oh, I thought that was the name of his special.
The first joke
maybe you might be right.
might be, but the first joke he ever did that I fell absolutely in love with the guy with, he goes, "When I met my wife, we were out on a date, and she said, 'What are your biggest fears?' And I didn't want to say the anxiety of getting up in front of people and having them hear my most inner fears and turning them into comedic works. So I just said, bears."
I am also afraid of bears.
I think he is so funny, but just the driest funny there is.
He really is.
Like
And
he's
it's
very
truthful,
he's like the
dry.
big definition. He's the definition of self-deprecation.
Yeah.
Like he sees that he has all these issues, and he just turns it into fodder for all his material. Like
Mike
he does.
Birbiglia is
He's
the man.
he's very good at that though. He is. He's very humble.
Very humble.
And he makes you feel good about him and about you know
about life. He's good
about life.
And
Yeah.
then finishing out the list is one of my favorites, Tom Papa.
Yeah.
Tom Papa.
Tom Papa's awesome. He bakes bread. Awesome guy.
That's it.
But I'll see you. Happy Full Size Podcast. Happy Full Size Podcast.
Happy Full Size Podcast. everyone.
I like Tom Papa because a lot of his stuff turns into sound bites that people use to create funny things too. Like, oh, people, have you made those?
Yeah.
Like, he's very he's a very up in your face about life kind of guy. Very truthful about a lot of the things he does, and he's very observational about culture and current life and the craziness that society puts upon themselves. And I think Tom Papa's a very brilliant comedian.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's my list of guys I like.
Very good.
That's
man.
awesome,
good.
man.
Of comedians I like.
Yes, very good. So again, the whole point of that was to get some new names in your head there. To go online, go on YouTube, Netflix, what have you, find some joy during these dark
Absolutely.
months. And that is the New Year's resolution for us here, along with maybe getting somebody in the fourth mic here.
Fifth mic.
Yeah.
Fifth mic. Let's get two people at
We have a
once.
ghost the whole time.
So we've had you here the whole time, and you've been great.
Yeah.
Who do you think some of your favorite people are?
I would definitely. I had one more left on my list. Mateo Lane is one of the
Okay.
one of the funny ones. Bobby Lee. I don't know if he still does stand up, but he's hilarious.
Yeah, Bobby Lee's all right.
Here's Mateo Lane.
But I didn't realize how gay my older brother was. I remember I used to come home from preschool. We had this giant tree in my backyard, and I'd walk around the tree and sing to the birds like Sleeping Beauty did. So every day I would come home and just be like,
Wow. First of all, wow.
Voice, yeah.
and I can just imagine my mom looking through the back window. Watching me sing to the birds. Having a conversation with my dad being like, Steve! I think this one's gayer than the other one. Because why is my mom making so many gay kids? Can you imagine her gynecologist appointment just like, all right, Sherry, let's have a look in here and
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
Oh my god, I love that.
He's definitely one of the ones.
Oh,
I watched
that's so funny.
Ali Wong's new stand up. It's pretty good. It's a lot of anger towards her ex husband.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, there's some of that.
It's a lot. Like how she's just fucking dudes.
There were no women on my list, but I mean, funny subjective. I do think Bonnie McFarlane. I do think Amy Schumer had some funny stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but it was predominantly.
Don't Think Twice was the name of that
That's
special.
Proviglia,
That's Proviglia special. We were trying to come up with
It's
a name.
essentially
So thank you
someone
for
gets
sending
the
me that.
big break in SNL, and the rest of the friend group has to cope with that success of the person.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember Bill Hader talking about the first time from that cast from that time period when Kristen Wiig's movie made it big, the Bridesmaids. They're all like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like they're all like jealous, but they're all like, "Holy shit, that can happen!"
It's got to be wild.
Yeah, it's got to be wild. You're all there together. You all got hired together. You're all in like a class.
Well, it's like Kyle Mooney and the other guy. What's his name? They were all in like a comedy troupe together, and the one guy didn't make SNL. So two of the three guys.
I don't know the
made
other
it.
guy. Kyle Mooney.
No.
And
I'm kind of glad he's gone because I hated Baby Yoda so much.
Yeah.
Baby
He
Yoda
was
was
such a
so
weird-
cringy on SNL. I didn't like it. That was a very polarizing. You hated it or you loved it.
Yeah.
And I was on the hate it camp. I thought it was annoying. But
yeah, it's an
that
interesting
happens a lot.
story.
Comedy's very subjective. Everybody loves things or hates things differently. So you get different reviews on the same material over and over again. Some people love it, hate it, whatever. But with something like this, you got 20 people to choose from. You're bound to find something that you'll like.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, find somebody new, enjoy it, share it with your friends and family. With streaming has really done a lot of really negative things to media these days. It's made it very fleeting, very come and go. But it has done one thing right, and it's really skyrocketed a lot of really good comedians to the surface. So go find them, go listen to them, and turn that frown upside down this January.
Yep. The other thing I could suggest, if there's a comedian that you like, rather than go right to their newest stand-up special or something like that, type their name on YouTube and then type interview at the end and see how naturally funny they are in conversation. And you may find the comedian that you like is actually, as a person, being who they are, naturally funny just in the real world. And I think that takes a lot of talent too.
Sure, it does, absolutely. So go ahead, do that. Smile more, frown less this year. That's your New Year's resolution. I assigned it to you.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year. A Hamilton line.
What's that line?
It's smile more, say less.
There you go.
Yeah.
Smile more and shut up.
Yeah.
Full-size podcast. We'll see you on the next one.
Shut up.
We'll see you on the next one.